Going on now. It's really cold out there, and I don't care what nobody's telling me, man. This climate change is serious, man. It's real. I'm looking at the forecast, just going through the forecast here, and what I'm seeing is like 30 degrees and it's clear. But earlier it was going up towards 50 almost, and now it just had a sharp drop. Saturday is supposed to be 40, the low is 30. Then there's Sunday is 50, the low is 36. Then it's going up to 49. And then you got in between 49, 48. Then on Tuesday, it's supposed to be 67 degrees on 58 degrees. And I'm looking at it like this. I'm just going to say this. I'm not going to pretend to explain and know why it happens, but I know climate change is real. And I'm sorry. I know what I feel. I know what's going on. It can't be just something that's a one-off situation. I don't know if you feel it where you come from or wherever you stay or wherever you live, but I mean this weather is crazy. This weather is crazy. So you mean to tell me right now it's like, what is it now? I'm not making this up. It's 37 degrees now, right? The winter's still going on. So now on Tuesday, it's going to be close to 67 degrees. What's going on, sweet luckies? I don't know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat because I got my headphones in. Oh, you can hear me? Sorry about that. I got a phone call that came through. Wasn't on my phone, but that's what it is. Okay, cool. But yeah, I'm saying climate change is real. There's some folks out there that may disagree with me. There's politicians and things like that. But all I'm saying is that the weather is dropping and going up like crazy. Like crazy. What's up, Llama Monster? I seen you in the chat. And I don't know what's happening with the environment. I don't know if the polar ice caps are melting. I don't know what's happening. All I know is I was outside. I went out earlier to go to work. Everything was pretty cool. All I know is by the time I hit the end of the night, like 11:20 p.m. on the Eastern Standard Time, I was looking for my gloves. I had my hands in my pocket. I thought, like, it was about to come back crazy. And then they said there's a possibility of snow. That's right, snow. Possibility of snow on Saturday. You know, and early in the week it was up in the 50s. You know, uh, looking like spring, looking real good. I don't even know if it was 60s at one point. I think last week it was like in the 60s or something. Then it dipped back, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? It's like we don't have seasons anymore. It's like we got hot and cold flashes and stuff like that. And I'm saying to myself, whoa, what's going on? Like I said, I'm not making this up. For anybody, listen, I can show you the forecast right now. I can show you the forecast right now. It's saying it's 37 degrees here in Brooklyn, right? Then, if I go into the forecast for Tuesday, what's going on? Happy Friday to you. For Tuesday, they saying it's supposed to be 67 degrees, right? Then on Wednesday, it's going to be 68 degrees. Thursday, 53, 46, 52. And then it's going back and forth with the low being in 38, 46, 43, all kind of other stuff. Happy Friday to you as well. Actually, happy Saturday. It'll be just fine. Just trust the government's official statement. They have our best interest in mind. Listen, I don't know what the government talking about as it pertains to climate change and global warming. But all I know is that when I'm out in those streets, I feel it. I feel it. Sometimes it's a little bit hotter, and that's the funny thing. Today, it was kind of warm when I was at work. Then all of a sudden I get out. Maybe I was out in the street too long. Maybe I didn't eat right. I don't know what happened. All I know is I turned around and all of a sudden I'm out there shaking. What's going on, Rusty Faith? I'm just talking about climate change. I'm just talking about the effects that it may have on people, whether or not it's real. I don't know whether or not you folks think it's real, but listen, it's real to me. Yeah, nah, I'm keeping warm. Still got my sweater on. That's why I'm doing this live stream. it is, it is what it is. You know, I felt the chill come through the window right now as I was talking. That wind, you know, over here on the East Coast, We oh, Rusty Llama, that's funny. On the East Coast, we say when it gets cold out here that the hawk is out, and then some people say when it gets real cold, the granddaddy hawk comes out. That's old timers speak. I'm not an old timer, but the old timers saying that when the hawk is out, they flying south because it's so cold or something like that, so they can't be out here. Hey, what's going on, my world in OKC? Again, happy Friday to you as well. I don't know. Maybe you folks out there don't believe in climate change. Maybe everything is good and beautiful in your area. Maybe it's 70 degrees all the time. I don't know. All I know is that for me personally, when I look at this weather and I'm seeing it's 37 something degrees right now. What's going on, Molly Dolly, the woman that never sleeps? I don't know what your sleeping schedule is, Molly Dolly, but it has to be an interesting one. Oh my God, you believe in weather? I don't know what that means. I really don't know what that means, but I believe in weather too. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, Minute Man. When you look at the forecast and it's telling you that it's gonna be in the 70s. Yeah, yesterday it was 70. Talk about it. Let's talk about it. Yesterday it was, it's talking about in the 70s. They're talking about Wednesday, or matter of fact Tuesday. It's supposed to be 67 degrees, right? I agree with you, Minute Man. It's winter. It should be cold. And my thing is, hey, I'm all for it being cold. But what do you do when the weather is constantly going up and down? Do you pretend nothing's going on? They're growing tropical fruit in Tasmania, a cold climate without greenhouses. There you go. All I'm saying is this, is that the climate change is real. And you don't have to believe me and take my word for it. I know, Minute Man, you feel strongly about that. It's winter. uh, I need to go live in North Carolina. Nah, I'm not going to North Carolina. I already know what's going on in North Carolina. You ain't even got to tell me. I know the homie rep will stay sovereign, so I already know what's going on. You know, yeah, winter's gonna be over soon, so they say. Yeah, that's what a lot of people is getting sick. I agree with you, OKC, because this weather's going up and down like crazy. It's like this. You have no clue. Wait a few minutes and the weather will change. Yeah, I believe you, Minute Man. I believe you. Like I said, it was hot earlier. I'm looking up. I'm like, yo, what's going on with this weather, man? I ain't feeling this. Maybe I'm getting a little too old. Maybe I can't handle this. I don't know what it is. I got to throw on my hood because it's cold or something. Like I said, in here in the dark looking crazy. My favorite season will be fall. Well, it's cool. I don't think we have real seasons anymore. We have like hot and cold streaks and stuff like that, you know. That's why people are crazy with the weather. Yeah, yeah. So it's, uh, I have high flashes. Yeah. Well, listen. Hey, what's up, George Romo? I appreciate you for coming through. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts about it, people. 10 years of planting crops or planting them all at the same time every year. Well, hey, Minute Man. Listen, if you planted crops and everything is good, I appreciate that. You know, all I'm saying is it's getting cold. People are getting sick. They talking about strands of flu that are crazy. You know, it's what it is. Big thumbs up. I appreciate that, OKC. Like I said, I'm just giving my thoughts, my opinions, what I feel out in these streets. Because I'm standing there. Like I said earlier on, I didn't need any gloves. I was outside. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, it's winter, but it's pretty nice out here. It's looking like it's about to be 50 degrees. Then I turn around and the winter creeping back in. I'm saying to myself, listen, you got to make up your mind, Mother Nature. You know what I'm saying? Because Mel, I need to have some consistency. I don't know about you, Minute Man. I don't know about anybody else out there. Maybe you like to be guessing when you step outside the house. 1 minute, I don't know whether or not to wear shorts. I don't know whether or not to wear a sweatshirt, to wear a winter jacket. I don't know whether or not to eat oranges, eat soup, eat oranges at the same time, have vitamins. I don't know, do jumping jacks, sweat it out, run around the block, stay under the covers. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is that climate change is real. And nobody else can convince me. Average was 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 7 days normal, now 110. Yeah, well, it happens. It's a great weekend, everyone. Much love. Yeah, no. Okay, see, I appreciate you. Like I said, like 5 times this year. That's crazy. Brother, so fellas, stick out. Yeah, no, I know how it goes, man. Listen, When I was young, I didn't care. Like I said, the climate change up and down, I didn't really care. Listen, I don't mind the rain. I actually mind the rain. I actually like the rain. You know what I'm saying? Good night, OKC. Sounds like Colorado. The weather changes on the dime. Exactly. But listen, might change a little too much. My thing is this: I don't mind hot or cold. I don't care what weather it is. I just want some consistency. It's just like you turn around, man, and it's like, what do you wear? I want to put my winter jacket away. I'm ready for the spring. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to get the male fashions going back or something like that. I'm ready to just get back into the mood and whatnot and do what I do. But it's like, what do you do? And I don't know. Forgive me if I sound like I'm complaining a little too much or whatever the case. But maybe that has something to do with getting older. Maybe it has something to do with how the weather affects the body and stuff like that. Because it is a challenge sometimes when you're coming out and you don't really know what the weather's gonna be like. And then the forecaster, the newscaster is telling you one thing, and then you're looking outside and you're seeing another. What's up? The climate has been changing for billions of years before man ever walked the earth. Let's see the rest of what you're saying. You're saying man's impact on the weather is almost nothing compared to the sun's. That's an interesting way of looking at it. Uh, hey, I'm not even trying to disagree with that. All I know is that, climate change is real as far as the rapid nature of it. You're right. I agree with you on that one, Deadhead. The climate has been changing before the man has, you know, walked on the earth. But the type of climate change that we're having, is interesting. Maybe it's something to do with the environment and how we interact with it, the pollution and stuff like that that's out there and whatnot. Like I said, I don't pretend to be an expert on the I was about to say the economy, on the environment. Yeah, nah, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Minute man, it's just interesting to see how us as human beings interact with the world. The grand solar minimum. You would have to explain more about the grand solar minimum. Exactly, real thing is cycles. Things go in cycles. Somebody was talking to me, a coworker was talking to me about the ice age, and we need another ice age to balance things out. But they don't know if people can survive that. I'm not ready for another ice age, even though we probably have the technology to survive and get through it. Nah, I'm not ready for another Arctic period in time. Nah, I'm good. You can keep the ice age. I just want some a balanced age. I just want to get back into the seasons when the seasons were the seasons. When winter came, winter was winter. When summer came, summer was summer. Fall was fall, spring was spring. Currently, they're close to an all-time high number of sunspots on the sun. Interesting. Interesting. Sun comes closer to the planet. The planet is warmer. When we orbit further away, we have colder climates. Yeah, I could agree with that. That sounds science, Minuteman. Those are things that I could get my head around. But it's just like the back and forth. So, are you saying that the sun is constantly moving further away and getting closer to the Earth? I'm not sure. But they're saying that the Earth, I know it was in 2016, that the Earth is hotter than it's ever been. You know, like I said, some people like it hot. I'm not ready for the greenhouse effect. That's not my particular cup of tea. That's not my thing. That's not where I'm going with it. Who knows? Like I said, it is what it is. It's just interesting to see how the climate change. We have an irregular oval orbit. Okay, well, something's going on. NASA has an agenda, 2030 report. Yeah, well, NASA has an agenda. The FBI has an agenda. The environmental, the Protection Agency has an agenda. What agency doesn't have an agenda? Like I said, I don't know what they're trying to do. All I know is I feel it. Cold weather is good for cuddling. Yeah, you got to find somebody to cuddle with. Yeah, they predict that we're heading towards another mini ice age. I've heard stuff like that. I'm not ready for another mini ice age, but as it was said in the chat, I guess that would be good for cuddling. Yeah, something's going on in the planet Rizza's orbit. Yeah, something's going on. Who knows? Maybe the Earth is moving slowly but surely. And if drone worship out there, then basically, I know he says the Earth is flat. Hello to you, California greenhorn fishermen. Yeah, this is just me talking about climate change. I believe it's real, and not just the climate change as far as, okay, the weather is changing just normally. I think abnormally the weather is changing, it's moving in ways that it probably shouldn't. I'm not a scientist. I'm not an environmentalist or whoever those smart folks are that figure this stuff out. That's I mean, it is an interesting topic though. You know, hello to California. So, but like I said, I just know that the weather, the environment is definitely being affected, and I'm not going to pretend like I know a whole bunch about it and I'm gonna have a deep conversation about it. But I can see that it is affecting people. As far as folks getting sick, I know there has to be some kind of correlation between the weather and people getting the flu. Because you can't tell me there's a record amount of people, dying from the flu right now, and it has nothing to do with the weather and the climate change and the pollution and the environment. These particular things that exist. Of course, people are trying to downplay it because you don't want people to panic. But for the most part, it's happening. Don't, like they said, the old saying goes, don't piss on me and tell me it's raining. Excuse my language. But it seems like it's situations like that. The environment is changing, pollution is rising, food shortages and shortages of water and stuff like that. And they're telling you, you know what, hey, just be calm, everything is all right. Yeah, the cycles affect our consciousness. Definitely a real thing. It's a lot out there to consider. And then just, our place in the environment and different things and whatnot. Like I said, these are things to pay attention to. Do you recall George Carlin's take, the earth is a dog and we are just fleas on its butt? Yeah, I've heard that before, George Romo. I definitely heard that. George Carlin, rest in peace. Great comic. He got very dark towards the end, but that's another story. But he has some interesting takes on life, on the environment and stuff like that. It's all good, you know. Yeah, but I agree, a real thing. Things move in cycles. The cycles affect our consciousness, and sometimes it can be better, sometimes it can be worse, depending on what's going on. So like I said, all I know is something is going on because, like I said, I'm walking through and I'm just seeing how the weather is going up and down, it's dipping. Like I said earlier on, I was hot, I was sweating, I had to loosen my collar, take off my tie, and all that stuff. And then I get outside and I'm like freezing. I need a scarf and I needed gloves and I probably needed a heavier jacket. And that was just almost like a split second. Yeah, yeah, we can all feel it, but I don't know if we all can acknowledge it. So, but yeah, my thing is just the politicians and the people trying to tell you, nah, nothing's going on. Don't worry about it. The environment is not getting worse. And then it's like, okay, we as people can see something is happening. The earth is getting warmer in certain spots. The polar ice caps is melting, and then places that never seen snow before are getting snow. So it's like, it's crazy. Like I think it was in Atlanta, Georgia, the state of Georgia. They had their first, snow or something like that, or like tornado or whatever it was, storm. Let me see what California is saying. Can you tell me something, brother, with that said is in our grandkids to tell our kids to have to struggle with adapting to something if it happens to technologies now? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with our grandkids in future. What's going on, Cargo 619? I'm just seeing you around a lot lately. I appreciate your support, everything that you've been doing. I think you came to all my live streams today. That's funny. You came to all 3 of my live streams, Cargo. Wow. I appreciate that support. Thank you. Yeah, but California, I really don't know. I really don't know, you know. Yeah. As far as the next generation, all we can try to do is tell them to take care of the environment and really, pay attention to what's going on. Like, there's something that's going on out in the specific Northwest or just like on the West Coast, with the sea stars or the starfish, the algae and the coral dying out, the sea life and stuff like that. That's dying out because the water is polluted and stuff like that. So, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's being affected by the environment right now, or the pollution in the environment, or the lack of care about it. I just think that the climate change, global warming, is a part of it. And that's just my feelings and my thoughts on it. Like I said, this is just how I see it. Like I said, I don't want folks to have to agree or disagree with me. It's just I know when the weather is swinging and dipping up and down, that is a particular thing that's going on. I don't understand it all. I don't pretend to understand it all, as I just felt the breeze come through the window. Don't ask me why I got the window open right now. Maybe that's because I got the heat on, but I don't know. That's just where I come from with it. We're less than 20 years away from robots doing almost every job. Well, hey, wow, robots can't be human. That's the one thing they can say. You know, robots can't yeah, they can't do a lot of things that we could do. You know, I don't know if robots can actually feel like we feel. Robots will never have a soul. There'll always be human error embedded into a robot. So that's just what it is. They're gonna need someone to fix the robots too. Yeah, cargo. They're gonna need somebody to fix the robots. That's definitely the case. You know, I don't even want to think about that, but that's probably a Terminator situation. Hopefully the robots don't turn on us, but like I said, let's just have wishful thinking on that much. You know, imagine that. Yeah, it's a changing world indeed. I think you have to just be willing to adapt, to try to understand it. If anything, California, I would say just to try to tell the grandkids and the generations coming before that you have to be aware, keep your eyes open, learn to adapt to the world, to the changing environment that's coming around. Because there's a lot of spooky stuff going on in this world. You know, a lot of spooky stuff. And if you don't pay attention and stay woke and just be aware of what's happening, man, listen, it can twist you and turn you in all kind of ways. But for the most part, like I said, you'll survive. The next generation will survive if they pay attention. People suffering from lack of knowledge. You know, just having awareness of what's going on. Too many times in society, people are just really not aware of what's happening around them. Sometimes folks don't want to pick up a newspaper or, go to their local, library or whatnot, or just, pick up the news, their phone and look at the news feed on their, social media. There's just ways to stay informed. Just, know the environment that you live in. It's a challenging sometimes. It's a challenging thing sometimes because sometimes we just want to be entertained. We just want to, shut ourselves out from the world and not really pay attention to what's going on. And you can do that. You can pretend like issues and things like that don't exist. But when they come to your doorstep, don't be mad at all those things that you ignored. I think it's Confucius that said that the little problems you treat with great importance, the big problems you treat with little importance. Because the big problems you can't really do anything about once they become big and like avalanches. And the little problems are something that you can change and do things about, you know, before the time. So that's what that's about. And a little Confucius there. I know you probably didn't expect that. Yeah. Yeah, the cargo is, I believe it is. I believe it's true. Like I said, just, be mindful that are things that we can't change, and there's things that we can, before it snowballs and turns into something else, And I think the whole climate change issue and the pollution in the environment and just, the depleting resources are something, that we could change now, that we could try to combat before it becomes a bigger problem, before it really becomes something that folks have to worry about in 50 years, 100 years, or even less than that. You never know. Who knows what the world is going to be like? Forget about robots. What about resources? The robots will probably be taking up most of the energy that's needed for people to live. And then we have a growing environment, man, the growing population. What's that going to be like? Maybe having more people on the world is making the earth hotter. I don't know, babies being born, a lot of, I don't know. Let me not say anything against the babies. Baby being born is probably not making the earth hotter, but yeah. Yeah, babies are beautiful though. Babies change everything. It is what it is. Some hot babies coming through. I don't know. Like I said, gotta love the kids. Gotta love the kids. Robots plus AI scares me. Well, yeah. Oh, blah. Why do you say that, cargo? Robots plus AI. I don't know, George Romo. Artificial intelligence is here. It's here to stay, and it's not going anywhere. It's the cat let out of the bag. It's the thing let out of Pandora's box. You can't put artificial intelligence away if you wanted to, because here's the thing: people want convenience. Poor babies. That's funny. It's funny, cargo. Nah, the babies don't have to be poor. They could be rich. Yeah, I love babies too. You know, I don't have any babies, and for anybody out there saying I do, you have to prove it. And AI gets more powerful each day. Well, AI can get as powerful as it wants, but the thing that will always overtake AI is the human spirit, the capacity to love, the power of love, the capacity of the human heart, and the ability of the human mind to be unpredictable will always overtake that. He said you love babies till they become teenagers, sweet luckies. Well, as the old saying goes, you love them before they can talk, but as soon as they learn to talk, that's when they start learning to talk back. I tell her if they're gonna start talking back, then it's time for you to get a job. Yeah. You have teenagers, but they're still your babies. That's cool. Well, hopefully you got well-behaved teenagers, cargo. You know what I'm saying? Because I was talking to a little kid earlier that was being bad and whatnot at work, and I was telling him to go back to his mother because he was walking around the church acting all, like looking kind of disgruntled. And then I told the kid, go back to your mother. And then he slams his hand down like, oh, like he had an attitude. I said, that's the problem with you kids out there. You got all these problems. He said, you got two girls. And yes, they're good girls. That's good. That's good. It's good to have good children. They make your life easier. That's one of the things I'd be worried about is having kids and whatnot. I said, I don't want to have no bad kids. Oh my God. I remember I seen an internet meme online, and the guy was crying in the internet meme, and I think the kids were being bad. And he looked up to the sky. He said that the kid talked back to him, and he said, Jesus, I didn't know you won him this quickly. So that's too grown, but they teenagers. I told them very well. Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I can hear you. I respect that. Sweet luckies. Like I said, it's good to teach your kids. You wouldn't have bad kids, Mama, because you were raising better. I appreciate that, cargo, but we'll see. We'll see whether or not I would have good kids. Yeah. Uh, nah, it's all good. I know how the spell check and everything is. I know exactly what you're trying to say. It's 100% different America for the younger generation. Yes, Deadhead. I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. It's a different world than where we come from, and it's going to be a spookier world for these kids coming up now. So I tell people, hold on to your children, teach them right, raise them up from a child, raise them up good, because it's not easy out there, man. And they're not making it any easier for folks to try to live and do their thing. As the old song goes, it's a crazy mixed up world. It's a doggy dog world. But it doesn't mean you can't succeed. It doesn't mean you can't survive. It's just a matter, like I said, of paying attention, being aware, knowing what's going on around you, and just, finding yourself around good people, good situations. How you feel about what happened in Florida? I pay for the family. Excuse me. How I feel about what happened in Florida is it's just a tragedy. It's horrendous. But it's like a friend said on Twitter. It's hard to really talk about gun control after what happened in Sandy Hook. When all those little babies was killed out there in Connecticut. You know, um, and stuff like this still happens, and the politicians don't really do anything. So then you say to yourself, oh, they're okay with these things continually happening. It's sad. It's embarrassing as an American to see that these type of things continually happen, and happen with the frequency as they do, and not to be properly addressed. And then the NRA is just, you know, wow, man, it's sad. It's sad. I moved out 16 with jobs everywhere. 16, 21. Yeah, no, things have changed. Yeah, there's a lot less freedom out there, deadhead, but, that's a part of people trying to have more security, being more fearful. But then when you give up your freedom for more security, then you look over to the kids in the schools, and, people being shot up in their, places of business and where they live, where they go to school at. It makes you wonder. It really makes you wonder. You have more danger of being killed by another American citizen than you are somebody else who's radicalized or, down with some terrorist group. Like I said, that's crazy. If we ever lose our Second Amendment, we're screwed. Yeah, well, there's a there's a flip side to that too as well. Deadhead with the Second Amendment rights and whatnot. Always thought my kids were being in their school safe and safe right now. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's like this, sweet luckies. It is a it is a complicated issue that could be real simple. Yeah, the FBI was warned about this guy. Yeah, it could be warned about folks, but what are you gonna do? There's a whole bunch of warnings. There's a whole bunch of threats out there that are possible to where things could happen and whatnot. What does anybody do about it? Because then you play politics with it. Because the NRA is so powerful because of the Second Amendment. And these things happen because of the abuses of the Second Amendment. So it's like, yeah, on one hand, you don't want American citizens to have their right to bear arms taken away from them. But then that's what happens. Shucks, I forgot to fix it. Hit the like button first. Yeah, no, definitely. Um, I appreciate folks for hitting the like button. Never run with the pack. Smoke alarms always go off. I don't understand that, but maybe I do. But my thing is just that, as far as Second Amendment rights go, you know, yeah, you don't want to take away people's rights to bear arms, but there comes a responsibility with bearing arms. There comes a responsibility with gun safety and knowledge and letting people know the consequences of, what it means to, own a gun, to hold a gun, to possess a gun. What it can do, the damage that it can really inflict upon a community, a society, a family, a person. And I think sometimes that's not really, stressed enough. The dude pulled the smoke alarm and then shot people. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. I heard about that part. I heard about that part. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. But it's crazy. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. You know, as a society, we have to do more. We have to do better. So my thoughts on that is just it's not something that's going away. It's a sad tragedy. It's all too common in our society. It needs to change, but I don't think we have the will to change things because people are so afraid of losing their rights to bear arms. Against government that if it wanted to, it could do whatever it was going to do anyway. But that's another story all in itself. You know, I think it's a lot of paranoia and fear running around as far as what's really possible and what's not possible. Meanwhile, nothing's being done and babies are out there getting killed and slaughtered because we still haven't really talked about the stuff that's happened in Kentucky. And then there were other incidents that happened in Florida. There were more than one shootings that happened, I think, out in Florida. This is just the one that they talk about. There's other shootings and things that happen, but the ones that hit the media are the ones that they talk about. So it's like, what do you do? What do you do? If people only know. Yeah, we have people being ran down with trucks left and right. Well, that's what it is, deadhead. You have a lot of irresponsible people in society. The world is too dangerous to be running around with ignorant people. But yeah, you can't ban trucks, but there's a way to be more responsible with trucks. There's a way to have more safety measures and checks and whatnot. There's more regulations and things that people can do. There's roads that can be structured and fashioned a different way. A gun may save all our lives. I beg to differ. I don't know if it's a gun that ever saved anybody's life, but can it stop violence? Of course, of course. I don't know. I just have mixed emotions about guns and gun use and whatnot. I'm not somebody who's a proponent of owning guns anyway, but I get it. Certain people feel like this gun is gonna, make them feel safe. Yeah. Sometimes it's a challenge praying for the world when, the world is bringing its own self to destruction. So I don't know how you pray for that, but like I said, you still pray for the souls of the people out there that are trying to make things better and folks that need it. I have more questions than answers. Yeah, I think sometimes we all do, deadhead, but I think the key is to really be honest about, wanting to know the answers. Yeah, because bullet has no name on it. Yeah, sweet luckies. A bullet does have no name on it. In one instant, it may stop violence and appear to save a life. In another way, it can ricochet and take a life that's innocent, that shouldn't have been taken. So, Gun violence is a complicated issue because the reality is people don't want to give up their guns. They don't want to give up the right to bear arms. And on one end, it is an issue with people, bearing too many arms and being violent and negative and dangerous towards folks. Forgive me, folks, but this is just something that was asked, so I just addressed the question. We have the heaviest trucks in the world, and our roads are safe. Well, Vinny G, heavy vehicles is not a right; it's a specialized job. That's an interesting way of looking at it. So, should it be a situation with guns being a specialized thing that people have? Because some states just open carry. Some states they don't worry about it, they don't care about it at all. That's just one way they look at it, VDG. So it's an issue that's not going away because I think gun safety, gun control, just that whole issue is not dealt with properly. And even with the disdain people have for the subject matter and how they may not want to talk about it. I don't care if folks don't want to talk about it, they don't want to address it or deal with it. People are still getting killed. So it's like, how do you address or deal with, people getting killed, people dying? That's not something that you just easily walk away from and shy away from. Like I said, Sandy Hook was a watershed moment that should have changed a lot of things. But when Sandy Hook, here in America didn't change anything, then you said it was just business as usual, And when it's business as usual, that's when things just continue on. And nobody really wants to talk about it and address the issue in a realistic way. So those particular type of things happen. Sad. It's really sad. So that's where I stand on that. I don't know if anybody else has anything else that they want to bring up, they want to talk about before I go. If there's anybody, I don't know. Going once, going twice. Okay, sold. But thank you for the folks that give their 8 thumbs up. Appreciate all the people that watched. If nobody has anything else to bring up, anything else that they want me to address or talk about at this particular time, I think I'll probably be wrapping this up. Okay, opinionated A. Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody for coming through. And once again, spread love. It's the Brooklyn way. Thank you for watching. Yeah, I think that's about it. And please don't take anything that I said personally. Please don't take it in a malicious way because, like I said, this is just conversation, adult conversation, just being able to express opinions and ideas. It's a very an adult thing to do, even if you don't always agree. There you go. I like to say that I enjoyed the line and nice meeting you. Yeah. No, it's all good. It's all good, sweet luckies. Take care. Yeah, I spoke some truth. So did you folks out there as well. Take care.